last episode we got the internals of the gearbox built. So in this one we're going to just put the odd little bits and bats on in the cup, a couple of little grub screws, get the motor fitted, and then get the casing on, and then get it plonked into the chassis, and then that's it for the gearbox. And then we can move on to some cool stuff like wheels and tyres and basically the body, and starting to get it looking like a grand hauler. At this point a lot of you might have like colours in mind. I'm still thinking. So yeah, like I say, we got that working, all 3 gears running nice and smooth. Now I hope you guys have greased it all up and got it all ready. Like I said, I won't be greasing mine for one reason, because I will be pulling the motor out and I'm not going to be running it yet, so I may as well do all that rather than getting it all messy and getting me messy and getting everything else greasy at the minute. So I may as well do that in one go next time. So for now, as per the manual, we are on section 24. Like I say, it's just these little bits, like the cup, a couple of E-clips on the end of like shift rod, and then the axle casing, and then the gearbox case, and turn page. I'll get it fitted, and then the cool stuff. So we're going to get this done. So phase 24, got screws, grub screws, the E-rings, washer, the little like washer type spacer thing, pinion gear, shift ball stay, and then your diff cup, the Allen key that come in the kit, which is ideal for the grub screws. It's kind of like a washer for your motor itself, the gearbox, and this little shift ball to go on the shift rod. So this is a straightforward section, and then as I said, there's the gearbox housing to pop it all in. So you are going to require Loctite for these bits. If you're permanently building this now and this is how it's going to be for you, then I recommend Loctiting all your little grub screws into your cups, because they have a tendency to fall off after time. Again, because I'll be pulling it apart and replacing the motor, it's pointless me Loctiting everything in and then possibly breaking the bolts and stuff to get them out when I need to replace it. So I'm going to leave that section for now. So if you just follow the manual as to where you need to Loctite and go off the manual with that, and then you guys will be fine. But I can go through that with you again. It's not a major issue, but I can show you that when I reconstruct, well, not reconstruct the gearbox, but when I do the motor swap and pull the gearbox apart to put it back together. Well, when I say apart, I mean the motor housing. So we're going to want the gearbox. So this little, I think it's J1 or J4, sorry, the little J4 plastic part. Just going to pop that in there. Your diff cup, very simple. You'll notice it has a flat edge, and all you want to do is line the hole on the diff cup to the flat edge, so the grub screw can bite that flat edge. Now you're working with 2 size grub screws, so this one is the taller grub screw out of the 2, and using the Allen key. So you would have put Loctite on this now to secure this in here, but as I said, it will be coming back out, so just line that up again here. So you just want to screw it tight, but don't over tighten it. It'll end up stripping your bolt, possibly your Allen key. So I'm just going to nip it up. Now one of the clips want to just pop that on. Flip the gearbox around, and now again we want an E-ring on the end of it. So your shift ball, which has a little hole on. Now same principle as you did with the grub screw on the cup, but we're going to do it here on the end of this shift rod. Now there is no straight edge, so you're just going to pop that on. And again, Loctite tool that comes with the kit, very handy. It's a little cross wrench. It's an awesome little tool. I have a few of these. The one's virtually lives in my pocket. So once that's on, we can now proceed to pop the motor in. I'm going to take your motor. I'll same again with the rod that comes out the motor and your pinion, and as you did with the cup, the nut over the flat edge of the motor. Now you don't want to put this in fully tight or Loctite this in yet until you've actually got it sat in position against the gears inside the gearbox. Otherwise you may end up with binding, because if you have it too tight you're going to have problems. You could end up burning out your motor in no time. So there needs to be a little gap there. Now you'll see on the side of your motor there's a couple of holes. Now that's wants to be lining up with these. That one's your main one, and this one you will put the washer on the screw because it's to adjust your motor as you get it in. So all we're going to do is just pop your motor in there. First of all, pop the washer on. Doesn't make much of an issue, but let's do it properly. So let's get that. Let's get the first screw in there, literally just to hold the motor in place. Now this is why we didn't Loctite the pinion gear straight away. As you can see, it's not sat flush with the gear. So all we're going to do now is loosen this little grub screw, so we then have a little bit of play, and just adjust it till it's nice and flush, gear on gear. Tighten that back up, get the second nut in, or the second screw, leave it loose. This you don't want completely tight with no play, because there it is struggling and I have to really work it. So just raise it up just a tiny smidge, just so there's a paper gap through it. Now if I run a piece of paper through this, once it's tightened, it should travel with ease. Look, you see how there's no binding there, and it's just running much smoother. Now this all goes to how well your truck runs. If you have it too tight, your gears are going to start binding, hence struggling, find it hard working, and you're going to end up either stripping gears or burning a motor. Now they're not. That is the motor fitted. Go ahead, tighten up them screws. And the pinion on the motor moves freely. Bit of snipping and filing to do. Now 5 nuts, 5 screws, slightly longer than the ones we've just been using. Been using 6mm and now these are 8mm. So don't get confused and just keep picking the same screws out of the box. Reference guide on the manual, guys. Hexes are already cut out, so the nuts just sink in. Make it easy. Gear casing, just sit that on the outside. Bolt all them as shown. Final one there is one Tamiya 3-speed gearbox. We can get it finally fitted into the chassis, which again is straightforward and really simple. I'm going to take your gearbox and just pop it in on an angle, and again another little angle till it sits in there. It shows in the instructions, but it's the first hole after the first tank mount if you was looking towards the front of the chassis. So that's where the rears will get screwed into. Same again at the front, and that's the gearbox fitted. Shaft. Just before we screw this gearbox into here, where we've just sat that in, you want to one end into the cup here, nudge the gearbox up a bit, put that back on to there, and then get that screwed up. So there it is. That is your chassis. That's pretty much all the mechanical sides of your truck. So the next bit is just the fun part, and that's the body and everything. It's all like putting your own unique touches onto it with your own colour schemes, designs, and yeah, I enjoy that bit of the build. I'm sure you will too, because like I say, it makes it your own. It puts your twist on it, and you can get creative. You go away from the manual then, and you can do what you want to do with it. Put your personality to it. So yeah, it's notice the wheels are turning on the back. No tyres on, so it might be a bit difficult to see that, but gearbox is a bit noisy, but there's no grease in there. Once it's greased up and bedded in a bit, it should quieten down. The final bit now of this is you have a servo rod coming under your steer axle there from one of your servos. That's your shift servo, and basically you're just going to pop that onto that ball. There we go. And now when your servo gives it zzz, 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 it'll in turn change gear. So thanks for watching. Please do feel free to subscribe. If you're new to the build, you can go and catch up the rest of it that we've already done. And if you want to just genuinely see more videos and stuff like that, and you liked it, then give me a like or drop me a comment down below. But thanks for your continued support. I really appreciate it. It just eggs me on to do more. I'll catch you in the next video. We start with the fun parts of the build and some wheels and tyres and stuff. So ciao for now, guys.